Bill Maher on his Club Random podcast brought up an unlikely name from the past. Maher's conversation with Trump supporter Kid Rock went back into time to 2020 and then winner Joe Biden. Let's watch.
I know what happened. Joe Biden won an election. That's what happened.
Just because, there was COVID going on. There was all sorts of horror going on.
What that
They use that as a disguise. I don't know exactly. Just because you don't get caught doesn't not make it a crime.
Oh, Bob, you lose me when you go there because it's been adjudicated. It's like give up on that one.
There's people going to jail that got convicted by 12 of their fucking peers. They're innocent.
Irrelevant.
Happens all the time.
Irrelevant to this point and this discussion. But sweetheart, it's actually a better story this way because it's a trilogy. He wins the election, then there has to be an act 2 where the hero is wandering in the wilderness before you have act 3. So it's better that he lost. Joe Biden did him a favor. He's more legendary because he came back. And
there's no question to that.
Maher also made some predictions about the future of the Democratic Party. Let's watch.
Cheney?
It's just he lost an election.
Cheney?
Whenever he won. Was everyone a hit record? Was everyone a hit record? No. But, does every one of my jokes land? No. You lose a few. And it's just a better story, and it just would be... It would make me breathe a lot easier because I'm not sure that this crowd is ever going to give, I don't know if we'll ever see a Democrat president again because I just don't think they are of a mind that that can happen without it ruining the country. So they convince themselves they have to do it. They don't want to do it. They just have to do it.
While talking about the failures of the Democrats, Maher, of course, mentioned Kamala Harris. Let's watch.
The Democrats draw the line at when they lose an election, they just quit. They quit quick. I mean, Kamala Harris was in the Bahamas on Thursday. I mean, they just okay, we lost, get out of town. See you, we'll try again next year, no big deal.
I don't think the Democrats are doomed necessarily to never win an election. They won an election 4 years ago, despite what Kid Rock seems to think there. Things go back and forth. It's a close country. Donald Trump did win the popular vote for the first time for a Republican in a long time, so it is a big victory, but still pretty close. We're talking about a handful of undecided go back and forth voters in 2 states, and so they could win again. However, they are in a bad shape because they don't have as appealing or charismatic or commanding a figure as Donald Trump. Now, neither will the Republicans in 4 years, so we'll see.
I don't think that Donald Trump would have ever been president again had the Democratic elite establishment not suppressed democracy in 2024. As you know, we didn't have a real primary. They de-amplified any candidates other than the president. They felt that the threat to democracy posed by Trump was so great that they were entitled to suppress democracy in our own house. So what happened was that there was a year and a half when the Republicans were having debates, when the Republicans were having CNN town halls, when all of the oxygen was the Republicans talking about their ideas for the country. Meanwhile, any conversation the Democrats wanted to have, particularly conversations about the unequivocal advocacy for the working people of the United States, was squelched by the Democratic elite, by the DNC. That's the old DNC leadership. I hope the new will be different. So when you say we don't have a charismatic voice, I think we have a lot of charismatic voices, but none of the traditional people would show up for the primary in 2024 because they were afraid of the DNC. And those of us who were not afraid of the DNC got everything that those who were afraid of, why they were afraid. I saw what the DNC would do. The DNC was wrong. The traditional Democratic voters who went along with that in their own codependent stupor, whatever they say, we're going with Biden, we're going with Biden. I hope that they are broken free from that. It's our own cult-like behavior at times. And we'll be back in 2024. I don't know if it will be a Democrat or it will be a third-party candidate, but I will tell you this. The American in 2028. The American people will not stand for this. The American people see what's happening. We'll be back strong in 2026 unless Musk is going to do something crazy with the machines, which I don't put past him.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, even the president had mentioned things about the Elon with the machines in Pennsylvania.
Oh, now we're going to hear voter fraud allegations.
I don't trust your side when it comes to voter suppression, but I do know this. everyone, not just Democrats. This is not just about Democrats versus Republicans. This is about Americans. And I think the American people in 2026 are going to do whatever it takes to make sure that their votes are counted, their voices are heard, and we will be at the very least getting back to House of Representatives in 2026.
Yeah, you might. What do you make of Kamala Harris's intention, it seems, to remain on the political scene? I think she wants to be the candidate yet again.
Well, they say she might run for governor of California. I don't know.
And then she's going to run for president.
Political gossip is not my thing.
Yeah.
And particularly political gossip about people who I feel need to move over and let new voices in. So
No, I think she should move over, but I don't think she's going to.
She was part. What'd you say?
I don't think she is going to move over. She should. You're
Well,
right.
she has a right to do what she wants to do, but everybody else has a right to do what we want to do as well. And my hope would be that the Democratic Party will have learned from its past and will not suppress any voices but their own little club.
Up next, what is techno-fascism? We will speak to a guest, and I will probably argue with them about that. Stay tuned.